Can I be heard? Can I be felt? Are
Yeah.
we live? See, are we live? I need to make sure that the YouTube channel right. Make sure that everybody can hear us. Make sure everybody can see us. Game one of the NBA Finals is officially in the books. And man, what a game. Uh, it's your boy Brody. Welcome to the Broadcast Network. Thank you everybody for watching, tuning in. And I got a special guest with me as always, my boy Q. Uh, Tonight we gonna run down all of tonight's events because this was, although the score may not say it, this was a fun game. It definitely was a fun game. Um, but yeah, man. First off, Q, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm still slightly hating on the Heat, so it's been a good night for me.
Oh yeah, I know that's right. I know that is right. So we gonna get to it. I'm gonna wait a second to see who all will join the stream. Also put the StreamYard chat in here because we do want y'all to be participants in this tonight. And we do want to give people a chance to speak on the game, get their thoughts, because game one, man, this was a very interesting game one. Very, very interesting game one. So before we just go deep dive into it, the Nuggets did pull off the victory. They won one hold on, because 104 to 93. And just before we run into each quarter, man, Q, what are your thoughts, your initial thoughts after game one?
Initial thoughts is, man, this was the type of game that made me think that Jokic would be the MVP of the series. He impacts the game on so many levels, dog. It's ridiculous. What they say, he only shot like 5 shots in that first half.
Yeah.
It was crazy, man. He only shot 5 shots, but he was clearly still the best player on the court.
Oh yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
unbelievable, bro.
Yeah. Like it felt like Jokic was just in control of everything throughout the game. I know in the first half he had 10 assists in the first half. Like Miami had no answer for him. And that was something that we talked about yesterday on our stream yesterday, was just who's going to guard Jokic? Who is going to be the person to take that assignment and stop him? And game one show, man, I don't know. I don't think Miami got anybody for him.
Well, it was looking like to start off the game, they would just threw the entire kitchen sink at Jokic and was trying to force the rest of the team to make shots. And well, we see what happened with that because Aaron Gordon got cooking early,
Yes.
and
Aaron
that
Gordon
was their
started off really
problem
good.
early because once he got cooking, and Jamal Murray and Michael Porter, KCP, then you know that's their worst nightmare, man. They didn't want everybody to start cooking.
Yeah, that's a fact, man, because that was something that I took note of very early on, was just how assertive Aaron Gordon was. Normally we look at him as like a role player, or kind of like a fourth or fifth option for the team, but early on, man, he had a quick 10 points. He had a very quick 10 points. And it looked like for a minute for some reason they couldn't stop him. And I don't know why the Heat decided to start the game out like this, but they put Gabe Vincent on Aaron Gordon to start out the game. That was a real bad mismatch.
The Heat ain't got many places to go with this Denver squad, man. It's sheer will, man. It really is with Miami. If they're not hitting those open shots, it is sheer will.
Yeah, that was a big part of the game too, was just how many open shots the Miami Heat missed. Like it felt like they were getting to the places on the court that they wanted to get to. They were able to get the shots that they wanted, but they just were not knocking them down.
And this is what I was waiting for them to do last series, but I digress. Um, Denver is gonna be hard to beat if you can't hit no shots against them, man.
Yeah,
Because I've noticed that with Denver, even the Lakers series, the Lakers supporting cast had open shots. They didn't hit either.
right.
They gonna give you some open shots. If you're not hitting them, they will run you out of the doggone gym, man. It can be very ugly.
Right. So we going let's talk about the first quarter before we get into that. Pops had a comment to talk about. So told y'all Aaron Gordon was gonna have an impact on the game.
Hey, OG, I thought about you the minute he had 12.
Oh yeah, no, I
Oh,
heard,
but
I
yeah.
heard it. I heard it as soon as the game started. He was going. Pops hit me like I told you, I told you.
But I did say Jamal Murray was gonna get hot. If he got hot, it was gonna be a problem, and he most definitely did.
Yes, yes, he did. So just we gonna kind of run through the quarters a little bit, because I did take a little some notes throughout the game, trying to be a little professional here, you know what I'm saying? Uh, but we talked about Aaron Gordon starting out effectively. Jokic's playmaking was, I mean, it's undeniable. It's really hard to stop. It's not really anything you could do for it. But something that I really want to talk about that I noticed real early on was the points in the paint for the Denver Nuggets.
Oh
They
yeah.
dominated in the paint all game. I mean, the first quarter, this is something that I saw that I took note of. I was like, man, this is wild. They had 20 points in the paint in the first quarter. Miami had 21 points in the first quarter. You know what I'm saying? So that lets you know right there just how dominant of an inside presence the Denver Nuggets had tonight. And I think early on in the game, that's what really set the tone for them, was just asserting their dominance inside. What you think, Q?
A lot of that was Jokic finding the open man, dog, and then there was just a lot of wide open little seams that
Mm-hmm.
there was some fantastic cuts the Denver Nuggets were making, dude, and they would send 2-3 people at Jokic, and you can't do that. Like that's what
Yeah.
Eric Spoelstra, I believe that he tried tonight to experiment with that, and it burned him.
Yeah.
I feel like he's willing to live with that. He's a very experienced coach, so he knows it's a very long series, and I'm sure he and the Heat gathered some things that they will do better with in game two. But Jokic has vision like a pure point guard, man. He's just
Mm-hmm.
7 feet tall.
Yeah. Yeah. He's and we talked about this yesterday too. This point, he got to be the greatest passive big man of all time. I know we said it yesterday, but every time I watch him play, I feel like I got to say it again just
Oh,
because
easily.
he does something different and just opens my eyes so much wider every game, because it just be a pass where it's just like, man, how you see him? Like, you know what I'm
I don't
saying?
think I've ever. Well, it's not just big men. He has vision that very few basketball players have, man.
That's
It's
a
not even
fact.
just big men anymore. And I'm getting to the point with him, and he's just straight up one of the best passers in the league. Period.
Yeah, he might be the best passer in the league right now. He really might just
He
be.
one of them. He up
Yeah.
there.
So Jokic's playmaking was a factor early on. Aaron Gordon was a factor early on. The points in the paint for the Nuggets. But what about the fatigue of the Miami Heat? Because it showed very early on. It seemed like they ain't had no energy. And do you think it was altitude, or do you think it was the short turnaround, or do you think it was a combination of both? Because I think it was a combination of both.
I think it was a combination of both. And again, man, when you play so many games in the last series, and it's 7 games to 7 games,
Yeah.
man, that's tough. Even we saw out the box, we knew what Jimmy was gonna do. Jimmy came out red hot. As soon as Jimmy popped out, I ain't gonna lie, I thought Jimmy was about to give us a 50 burger tonight.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, it's about to be one of them. But all credit to Denver. They adjusted and guarded Jimmy well tonight.
Yeah, they did. He didn't
They did
shoot very
well.
well at all. He shot. Let's see. He shot, because I got the stat line here. He shot 6 for 14. That's not very good. That's not very good at all.
And I was looking at some of the 3-pointers that they were taking, all very makeable threes for the Miami Heat. They can look at it and say, okay, we just missed some shots. We can make them in the next game. That's very true. I think that this game two will really tell us whether it was just an off night for them, or if they're really tired, or because I'm not under the belief that this entire playoffs has been an aberration and they just been out they body for 3 rounds. I feel like that wore
Yeah.
off by now.
Yeah. It just seemed like this was a series like Max Strus. 0 for
Oh,
10, 0 for 9 for 3. I mean,
I
uh,
relish in every second he was garbage tonight. Oh my god.
Caleb Martin 1 for 7. Duncan Robinson 1 for
Horrible.
6. It was one of them games where it just felt like everything the Miami Heat threw up, it just didn't go in, and for me, I think that was the biggest thing going into the series was that their ability to shoot the ball was something that was really going to be a big key for them, and they were going to have to knock down shots. And tonight, seeing
Caleb
how they
Martin.
play, yeah, Caleb Martin especially, with them not being able to knock down shots, it showed just how much they lacked in everything else, especially compared to the Denver Nuggets.
Now, but it's very troubling. We will see for game 2.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very troubling because all respect to Bam tonight. Bam showed up.
Yeah, he had
But
a lot. He
man,
played with a lot of effort.
it's so much of a difference for that team when they get some of those other wings going outside of Jimmy. When they get Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent and Strus, and those guys is hitting. Miami has a legit shot. Even with Bam rolling, bro, they don't have a legit shot at beating Denver in this series whatsoever if those guys don't start making those open shots.
Right. And we actually have another person about to join the panel, my cousin Mike. He just hopped on the stream. Said, Mike, what's up? How you feeling, brother?
Was good. Feeling kind of. I just got done doing a dude downstairs, so let's not get into that.
So Mike, we talking about the series, the game 1. What are your thoughts coming out of game 1? How do you feel? What are some key points for you?
My key points from game 1 is that, man, the Heat, they can't rely too much on Duncan, man, with the 3 ball, man. He was ice cold tonight, man. Like he wasn't like how he was in some of the earlier games. And, I'll say basically my thing for the Nuggets is keep doing what they're doing. Like their ball movement is elite, though. That's one thing I tend to notice that with the team, that everybody gets involved. Everybody gets their touches.
Yeah. And talk about and just build off of that a little bit. Jokic, the impact of Jokic as a playmaker for this team. Have you ever seen a center like that?
Jokic is that good of a playmaker, but like as a player, where it's like if you think you stopped him from scoring, he's gonna get everybody involved. So you may hold him to say, let's say 12, 15 points. He's gonna walk out with like 17, with 17 assists, because Jamal Crawford may end up with 25. Aaron Gordon may get his piece. Michael Porter Jr. in the bench. So I mean, that Nuggets team collectively is put together like in a way where Jokic can play make and just get the whole team involved. Like this team is complete. Like I'll say right now.
Yeah. They showed a lot of just all around presence tonight, and Q, talk about that some more, because you mentioned that a little bit earlier, just their ability to find little nicks and crannies and find little areas on the floor to get to.
The first place I thought about, man, like, how do the Miami Heat always get caught up playing the legendary big men in the finals? They messed around with Tim Duncan twice. They messed around with Dirk. They messed around with AD last time. And now here go Jokic.
The problem with the Heat is that the Heat doesn't have a big, Bam is like he's like what 6'9", but they don't have like a true like center that can guard somebody like a Jokic. And they're not deep at the big man spot. I mean, the best one you have is Bam, and I mean, I can't really name any other big men for the Heat outside of like Kevin Love, but he's old.
Yeah, and he didn't even play tonight. He didn't get no run tonight.
Cody Zeller was getting stripped by Jokic.
Yeah. I forgot about Cody. Hey,
and Cody's 7 feet.
I just think about Cody during his time when he was in my city, man. I don't talk about that too much. I'm still wondering how he lasted that long. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah, because I saw an interesting little snippet from Channing Frye earlier, and he said that maybe Cody Zeller should start at the center in this series. What do y'all think?
No. They don't have a prayer in messing with Jokic. I genuinely do not know what their answer is for Jokic. That's why they pay Eric Spoelstra and not me. Like, I don't know.
Jokic is so good that like even the best big men like in the West Coast couldn't stop him. AD couldn't stop him. That's
right.
like,
Hey, he the best defensive big man over there.
yeah, like,
yeah. So actually, we gonna bring on one more person, Pops from the chat. You know what I'm saying? He on with us. I know he got some facts and some things he want to talk about.
Yeah, he looked like he want to talk.
Right, he about to let everybody know what's going on.
he's up late. Like, that's how you know.
Yeah. So what's good with you, Pops? What'd you think about game one? What are your thoughts and anything that you looking for?
Well, first of all, let me start out saying, I hate to blow my own horn, but toot toot. I kind of called it about Aaron Gordon, but it wasn't so much of me, just knowing that was going to happen. It came to fruition. I think just poor game planning on the part of Miami coaching, because you coming into this, I mean, there's no way you're gonna come into this game thinking Vincent can guard Gordon down low. I mean, the size difference, the strength, all of that was dumb. Bam, I thought from an offensive perspective played well, but defensively he was lacking. I don't think he had the same intensity. So Jokic, he's always going to get his, but I think the lack of intensity on the defensive end from Bam contributed to Jokic kind of looking really good tonight. Although he was going to get his, because he's Jokic, 2-time MVP, but and maybe Bam, from a defensive perspective, he kind of lacked because he was given a little more than usual, I think, on the offensive end. Because I'm just gonna keep it real. I mean, in my opinion, Butler stunk it up. He had no drive, no intensity, tonight. But again, I think that comes from that other series dragging out 7 games.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that wholeheartedly. It just felt like the team as a whole. You mentioned Jimmy Butler, but it just felt like the team as a whole, they just didn't have a lot of energy. Like, they were there. There was times where they show flashes and they kind of kick into gear a little bit, but then Denver would go back down the floor and score, and then that energy would kind of be taken away from them. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what kept Denver in control of this entire game.
I mean, I'll say this. I mean, it's kind of tough for you to come out and play when, you went into 7 games and you get like 2 days of rest at most. You got to be in Denver right after that last series that they played. So,
yeah,
they had, so, that's a quick little adjustment that they got to make.
Right. So, I'm going to ask everybody else. Let's talk a little bit about what are some things that you think Miami can do to play better in game 2? Because I think this game 1 showed a lot about Denver. It showed the things that Denver can do, and a lot of them are things that we already kind of knew. But for Miami, what are some things that you look for from them going into game 2, and how should they prepare for game 2? Q, you want to go first?
Man, there ain't but so many schematics they gonna have for Denver. They gonna have to increase that intensity, and they have to get some of that wind back and make them open shots. There ain't but so many schematics. Spoelstra, if anybody can do it, it's Spoelstra, but there ain't but so many tricks you gonna throw at Denver in this series, man. It ain't but so much you gonna get. So they're gonna have to find a way to get back, not just physically but mentally, what they lost playing 7 against Boston. It just took too long. It was not just physically draining, it was mentally draining.
Yeah.
Messing with that. They just bulljive for too long.
Yep.
Right. I agree. Pops, Mike, y'all got an answer, response for the question?
I mean, the best
thing go ahead, Mike.
Oh yeah, Mike.
I'll say, defensively, you ain't gonna stop Jokic or really his playmaking ability. So I'm gonna just stick on the offensive side, really more so towards Jimmy being more aggressive and attacking the basket more, because he's gonna get the calls. He's not gonna pull the 3-point shot. And I'll just say, so far, just keep getting the whole team involved. If they catch fire, it's gonna punch the Nuggets in the mouth, because they're not gonna stop their shooters.
Right. I'm with you, Pops. What you got to say?
piggybacking on what Mike said about Butler being more aggressive, they all need to be more aggressive. I think they set a record tonight for least free throw attempts in a finals game. I think they only had 2, right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. Let me
That's
let me
not
look
gonna cut
into
it.
that right now.
If
Yeah,
I'm
yes,
if I'm
sir.
not mistaken, they only had 2. The record was
Mm-hmm.
3 previously. So,
it was crazy.
how do
Yep.
you have a Jimmy Butler on your team and you only go to the free throw line twice? You only attempt 2 free throws.
Right, because the person
You
who
know,
attempted the free throws was Highsmith. That was the only person to shoot any free throws tonight.
right. So what that's saying is you totally got away from arguably what is going to help you win this series is hard-nosed Eastern Conference basketball, drive it into the paint, get these fouls. I mean, jump shots are nice. They're pretty when they go in, but you're gonna have to, for Miami to win this series, they're gonna have to really be rough and tumble, and grind, for lack of a better term, to get this win. But yeah, I mean, I think only 2 free throw attempts the entire game. Yeah, that's an issue. But again, that goes back to and Mike, you also mentioned, in Q the travel. So not only did you drag that other series out 7 games, you are now coming to Denver, which is high altitude, and it's flying 3/4 of the way across the country, or at least halfway across the country,
Right.
for you. So that's going to add to your possible fatigue coming into the game. So and that's why I predicted that. Yeah, I'm thinking they're not going to win this first game coming into it.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, they're not going to win the series. In my opinion, I don't think it's going to be a sweep. But yeah, they got to go back and adjust their game plan. But one last point, and this kind of goes back to because I even thought about it during the game, just looking at with Bam trying to guard Jokic, because I was thinking, well, maybe they need to try to have Bam and Zeller, in at the same time. But I saw a couple of plays there with Zeller, and then was thinking,
He ain't
yeah,
it. He ain't it.
Barbecue chicken.
Yep. Every
barbecue
time.
chicken. There you go.
Chicken.
Yeah, they're not even going to give Zeller 15 minutes of playing time. So
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I agree with all that. But the thing, and this is something that I think it will be a very interesting game plan for them going forward, is force Jokic to beat you by scoring. I think, I think Jokic, his best attribute is his playmaking ability and his ability to just outthink everybody. But if you put him in a position to where he has to score and he has to just, focus on that scoring, I think that Denver is not the same team, because so much of their offense is based on Jokic getting the ball to Jamal Murray or Michael Porter Jr. or Aaron Gordon or KCP or whoever. And for them, for Miami, size-wise, I don't think they'll be able to match up. It's just going to be tough. Cody Zeller, he ain't it, like we just said. Bam, he's too small. But if you force everybody else around them to work to get what they do, because I think personally, I think the Miami Heat match up with the wings and the guards. I think they match up well in terms of just size, but force Jokic to score the ball, because that just, it takes a different element out of their game. You know what I'm saying? That's my thought. That's what I think will be a game changer going into game 2.
Well, you got to have a lot better defensive effort than you had, tonight. I mean, because just to me, he could pass and or score, at his leisure tonight. They didn't make scoring difficult for him. So you got to really, bring up the level of defensive intensity if you're going to try to, force them to beat you with his scoring as opposed to playmaking.
Right. Right. So we're about to close out everything. Game 1 is in the books. Denver kind of dominated. What are some things that you expect to see in game 2? And who do you think is going to win game 2?
Mm.
Uh,
It
I let
it all depends, man. I think they got to look at Bam and tell him to drop his nuts. He gonna have to guard Jokic himself, man. Like there is no other choice. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Broderick. There's something about if you let Jokic have his offensively. It's something different when they get that ball moving. The Heat will get swept if that ball keeps moving like that.
Mm-hmm.
They will get swept. If Jamal Murray and KCP and Aaron Gordon is piecing you up like that, they're getting swept. No doubt about it. So they have to do their best to muck it up and make it as ugly as possible. They had to pull out lead pipes and baseball bats and ice picks, do whatever they got to do.
Yeah, they got to turn this into a wrestling match.
I expect game 2 to be much tougher because it's the Miami Heat. They're not going away. They showed us that tonight. Like, no matter how bad they're getting beat up, they're not going away. But I expect the Denver Nuggets to still win game 2 because Jokic showed you that he knows how to stop the bleeding, though.
That's a great point. That's an excellent point.
I mean, hey, we will see.
Okay, Mike. What you think about game 2 going there? What you expect, and who you got winning?
I expect a lot of adjustments being made. I expect Caleb Martin to get more touches in next game. I'm looking at where he went 1 for 7. I feel like he's definitely going to shoot the ball more because for Miami Heat to win, he's going to have to pull off how he's played in the last series. And just to piggy off what you said, yeah, they're going to have to just let Jokic score, man. Like, you have to just lock up Murray and Gordon. And if you can do that, you become more of a pest and you can pull it out. But I give it to the Nuggets, man. I'll say he might go into 6 games. Six games the most, yeah.
Okay. Pops, what say you? Going into game 2.
Yeah, so first of all, my overall prediction, Nuggets in 6. But game 2, I think Miami, I think they're going to make some adjustments. Butler, in order for him to win, Butler's got to be a lot more aggressive. Mike, you mentioned Caleb Martin. So the days of Caleb Martin having another series the way he did, leading, the series, I guess, throughout the playoffs leading up to that's over. That was like a unicorn. It's not going to happen again.
I mean, like I'm sitting over here and I'm looking at Strus and he shot 0 for 10.
Yeah,
so
he played horrible.
That's why like I was like, shoot, I'd rather go 1 for 7 than go 0 for 10. Like,
Strus stands a better chance of having a better game next game than Martin. I think for Martin it would be really tough, and I say that because Michael Porter Jr.'s length is giving him trouble because he could get around him, but then Porter Jr. was still able, in a lot of cases, kind of catch up from behind and get the block. So I think, and what that's going to do is make, I think that's going to put some hesitation in the mind of Martin. And once he loses that edge, which I think he lost the night that he kind of had coming into this, you can kind of just push him out the picture. He'll be a non-factor from here on out. But I think game 2, it won't quite be, the blowout, if you will, like it was tonight. I think Miami will make it a little closer. But I think overall, the Nuggets just have a better team. And I think they'll get game 2. I don't think they're going to lose at home. They'll go to Miami. Miami may be able to pull out, game 3, and then but I think the Nuggets will still get one there in Miami and then come back to Denver and their first time in the finals, and they're going to close it out likely in front of their home fans. So.
Okay. Well, for me, game 2, I think that the biggest thing going into game 2 is what are the adjustments that the Miami Heat, what adjustments are they going to make? Because if they continue like certain things that they did during this game, I didn't like from a defensive standpoint. I felt like they have to be more aggressive defensively. They have to be more physical. And they also have to just, I don't want to say they have to really try to get in Denver's head, but I think that's a big part of what has been their made them successful during these playoffs. You know, they've been able to they were able to get in the heads of the Knicks, even the Celtics to a certain degree. But this series, they're really going to have to play those mind games with the Denver Nuggets because talent-wise, you're not going to beat them. You know, talent-wise, there's very few teams in the league that are better than the Denver Nuggets, if any, at this point. But for them, they just have to play more physical. They have to get in Denver's head. And I really do think that they have to force Jokic to score. They have to force him to score and force everybody else around him to be uncomfortable because that's going to be the real key. Michael Porter Jr. can't be, he can't be playing as well as he did tonight. He played a great game tonight. Same thing with Eric Gordon. Same thing with Jamal Murray. Mm-hmm. Jamal Murray is a little more harder to guard, and that's cool. But the role players, you got to stop the role players because is what makes a championship team a championship team. It's the role players. And Miami got to stop them in order for them to win. And in terms of game 2, I think Miami's going to come out. And honestly, I think that is going to be the Jimmy Butler game of the series. I think that's probably going to be the first one where he's going to come out next game with a lot more intensity. And I think there's going to be periods where he imposes as well. And truth be told, I think I may have a Miami Heat winning game 2. I really do.
I don't see him imposing his will because I think, you got some young athletes, some young studs on Denver. And I think Gordon presents a little bit of a defensive challenge, for Butler because, he's a little taller, just as strong. So, if Butler, kind of gets his, it's going to be because of his knowledge of the game and outthinking Gordon.
Yeah. But like I said, I just think that in this finals, there's going to be at least 2 games where Jimmy Butler's like, nah, we not losing tonight. He's shown it not only in these playoffs, but he showed it in the bubble too against the Lakers. There were some games in that series where he was just like, nah, we not losing tonight. And that's how they ended up going to 6 games with them. So I think that could very well happen this series. And I think that's going to be the thing that really carries Miami over into a longer series, because if Jimmy Butler played like he did tonight, they're going to get swept. It's no question. They're going to get swept. But if he has a few games where he's like, nah, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to get in people's heads, I'm going to start balling out, doing the things that I do, Miami will take this game longer. And the longer this series stretches out, to me, the more of a chance Miami has to win.
I have a question though. Do you think the effect of Hero not playing, Hero not playing, like, do you think that's affecting the Heat?
I personally think that playing against Denver, it will more so than all the other teams, just because I think Miami had a mental edge against the other teams that is going to be a lot harder to crack that mental edge with Denver, because Denver, one, they're well coached. I think that's something that people don't say enough. They're very well coached. Mike Malone's a good coach, but also they have guys on that team that they seem pretty even keeled. They're not really, emotional like that. They're not going off on the refs or going off. They have to really get them out of their element in order for them to win this series. And Tyler Hero, to me at this point, he's too far gone. I mean, y'all made it to the finals without him. Y'all are going to put him in the lineup now. Is he really going to help you at this point, or is he going to hurt you? Because he could very well come back and shoot you out of the games, and then you end up losing. So, I just don't think Tyler Hero really matters at this point.
All right.
So, is there any closing thoughts or anything else that anybody want to say? Pops, Mike, anything that y'all want to plug or get out there before we head on out of here?
Nope. I'm just trying to finish this SpongeBob episode. It's the band one.
That's a classic. Pops, you got anything you want to promote, plug?
No, nothing to promote, nothing to plug. We'll see what happens game 2, and when we can kind of get back together and discuss it further, whether it's later on in the series or what.
Oh yeah, for sure. Q, you got anything that you want to promote? You want to plug?
Nah, man. I just feel like Miami played around with Boston for too long. That might be their downfall.
Yep. Yeah. I agree. I think that very well could be it. So, but I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. I want to thank everybody that's watched. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Pops. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Q. Thank you for coming on, talking about the game. For everybody that's watching, if you want to stay in tune with the Broadcast Network, please follow at Broadcast Network on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to follow myself, Life is a Broadcast on Instagram and Twitter as well. And yeah, man, this has been fun. I'm super excited about the rest of this series. Although the game was a blowout by score, I do think it was a close game. And I'm really excited to see what happens going forward in this series. So if nobody else has any closing thoughts,
SU,
you said what now?
the big SU.
So oh yeah, Aggie Pride all day.
Yeah, that's that right there.
So we catch y'all later. It's been the Broadcast Network. It's been your boy Brody. God bless you all. Thank you, and we will catch you later. Peace.
Absolutely.
All right, deuces.